4 minutes is what we have to establish our question of the day. And as we know, in this format, we are using 4 minutes to put forth a question. And in the next 4 minutes, when I turn this upside down again, I have another 4 minutes to establish the answer. And through this question-answer flow, what I'm trying to do is establish a new religion called Swadharma. That indeed is the intention of Karma Yoga for 21st century. That's the movement in order to establish the new religion called Swadharma. Now, we have discussed before this in the question-answer flow that the answer that I provide is not really the last answer, it's only an opening statement. So the injunction is for all of you who are listening to this video to think more deeply, get more insights on the same question, and then present your answer, your differences to the answer that I am presenting, because that's really what Swadharma is based on. Each one of us living consciously with our own value systems and being aware of our values, of our way of living this life, our attitudes, our behaviors, all of these kind of things. When we become aware of these moment to moment to moment, we are actually living Swadharma. Now, we've explained all this earlier and we will continue to do so, but the question that comes up today is in relationship with the term Swadharma and its relationship with another term called Paradharma. Now, earlier I have mentioned that Swadharma actually is a combination of Swa and Dharma. Swa means self, mine, and Dharma loosely means religion. So Swadharma is my religion, or my value systems, my sense of morals, my sense of universal goodwill. Now, Paradharma, so before I go to Paradharma, let me just explain. Swa is that prefix which connotes self, mine, and Dharma is that word which connotes religion, duties, etc. So, Paradharma compared to this is the others. Para means other. Self is Swa, Para is other. So others' religion, someone else's religion, someone else's sense of duties, someone else's moral values. That is Paradharma. Now, how many Swadharmas? Yesterday we discussed, in the last episode we discussed infinite number of Swadharmas. In the same way, hence, how many Paradharmas? Infinite Paradharma. As many Swadharmas, so many Paradharma. Because each one has his or her own Swadharma. Each one means not only individual human beings, but everything. A fish, a Swadharma of the fish is in the water, not in milk. The bacteria Swadharma is living in the milk, being in the milk. So, in that sense, Swadharma and Paradharma are kind of always there. There is no Swadharma without Paradharma. Paradharma means Ayon, who's doing the camera here, his dharma. That is Swadharma for him, but Paradharma for me. For all of you who are listening to this, each of you, the way you are living your life moment to moment to moment is your Swadharma. For me, for anyone else, that is Paradharma. And the question really is that is the fight between Swadharma and Paradharma? Is Paradharma what Swadharma fights against? What is the real relationship between Swadharma and Paradharma? Is Swadharma has to fight Paradharma? Or is there any rivalry between Swadharma and Paradharma? That's the question that we are going to answer today in the next 4 minutes. So, if we go back into history, we will find that the term Swadharma in Sanskrit literature has been used way back. Now, in the Bhagavad Gita, which is really the dialogue between Sri Krishna, the charioteer of Arjuna, who's the prime warrior in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, where the Pandavas and the Kauravas, that's the two primary sides who are fighting in a major battle in this epic Sanskrit epic Mahabharata. There, the dialogue between Sri Krishna, who is the divine charioteer of Arjuna, that is what has become the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the main scriptures, one of the primary scriptures of those who follow Hindu religion, Sanatana Dharma, as many would call it. Now there, in the 3rd chapter, 35th shloka, we can see Sri Krishna is explaining to Arjuna that Swadharma, even if it is of a slightly lesser quality, less refined, is better than Paradharma, which is more refined. In fact, he goes on to conclude that Paradharma is quite detestable, quite degradable. Now, at a superficial level, you might think that that shloka is talking about some kind of rivalry or comparison or kind of antithesis between Swadharma and Paradharma, which is my religion and your religion. The way I live my life and the way you live your life. As if there is some discussion about rivalry between these. But if we really try and understand, at least the way I live my life, my value system, that is Swadharma for me, in this Swadharma, in my Swadharma, actually my Swadharma, there is nothing called my Swadharma because Swadharma is my Dharma. So in my religion, that is Swadharma for me, the way this whole thing gets interpreted and the way this works for me is that there is really no fight between Swadharma and Paradharma. Because Paradharma is also Swadharma. Why? Because what is Paradharma for me is Swadharma of someone else. So there is really no distinction in that way between Swadharma and Paradharma. Because Paradharma is also Swadharma. Someone else's Swadharma is my Paradharma. So how can Swadharma fight with Swadharma? No, there's nothing to establish my dharma over your dharma. No, that's not what we are talking about here. So the fight is really between dharma and adharma, not paradharma. See here, in Swadharma we have both adharma and dharma. And that's what I keep saying, that Swadharma, if this rope is what is representing Swadharma, then one end of the spectrum is dharma and the other end of the spectrum is adharma. So all the immorals, degraded values, lack of sense of duties and responsibilities, all of that is this end, adharma. And this end is, let's say, dharma, which is righteousness, sense of morals, universal values, that the integration of the good, the true and the beautiful, those three, that is dharma. And that is what binds us. What binds us to this end is dharma. And what always is lurking around is the other end, which is adharma. And dharma and adharma are both contained within Swadharma, in the same way that dharma and adharma are both contained within Paradharma, because this Swadharma is Paradharma for someone else. So Swadharma is Paradharma and Paradharma is Swadharma. It's just how we experience it our own selves, is our own way of being, is Swadharma. So the fight is between Dharma and Adharma within Swadharma and Dharma and Adharma within Paradharma. But it's not my business, none of my business to focus on Paradharma in order to fight it or rival it. No. The only purpose that Paradharma serves for Swadharma is to make Swadharma richer. It helps to give more context to Swadharma. I can understand Swadharma better. I can keep refining Swadharma. I can keep working with Swadharma with the help of Paradharma. But I don't need to fight Paradharma or completely get rid of Paradharma and establish Swadharma there. No, That's not what it is all about. It is all about understanding that Swadharma and Paradharma are universal and eternal. They are both going to be there. And Dharma and Adharma are also going to be there in Swadharma and in Paradharma. And the real jihad, the real fight, the real Kurukshetra, the real battle, the holy wars is to establish Dharma and Dharma over Adharma. To establish Dharma over Adharma, not Swadharma over Paradharma. That's all for today, friends. Namaskar.